Hi, Meryl.
Hi, Paul.
So today we're going to talk about how we can travel around from place to place. And did you know transport actually makes up almost a quarter of Europe's greenhouse gas emissions, and it's actually the main cause of air pollution. And there's about 40,000 people who die early, they die prematurely in the UK due to toxic air.
It does seem that getting young people to think about sustainable transport is becoming increasingly important. The Clean Air Bill, just going through Parliament and named after Elidu Kissy-Debrah, who was just 9 years old when she became the first person in England to have air pollution named as a cause of death by a coroner. Her school bus used to sit in traffic, and so she used to walk along to school along a congested road and breathe in pollution every day in London.
Yeah, and it's not just petrol and diesel cars. We can also think about over 30 million flights happening every year, and aviation accounting for about 3% of global emissions. But what this also does is it brings in a good example of climate inequality, where most people in the world have never actually stepped on a plane, and it's a really small group of people who are taking the majority of flights.
I suppose that's one of the reasons why one of the big questions in the Ministry of Eco-Education curriculum is, can we all fly?
Yeah, that's a really great series of lessons, and it's linked to the primary topic of tourism. And so students learn about the impact of our holiday choices and the contribution of flying to greenhouse gas emissions.
And I drive an EV and charge it with solar panels at home when I can. But I bet you're going to say that EVs aren't the answer either.
Yeah, you can find out for yourself in with the big question, should everyone get an electric car? And this one covers the history of transport, how the resources we've used have changed, and they include resources, sorry, from the Hamilton Trust. There's also a podcast from the Royal Society of Chemistry on sustainable cars, and also there's where lithium comes from for with the Geological Society.
I know you support Sustrans. The big street survey exploring what streets could be like is just fantastic. The concept of a 15-minute city where most daily necessities and services such as work, shopping, education, healthcare and leisure can be easily reached by a 15-minute walk, bike ride or public transit ride from any point in the city is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, that's definitely in there too. And we also encourage schools to complete a survey on how everyone, students, staff, everyone gets to school, or maybe to study how family and friends use travel when they were young.
This could link really well to discussions on ULEZ, which get in the news, ultra low emission zones, which are coming to towns and cities across the UK. Needless to say, I'm a bit of a fan. Less fossil fueled cars on the road means better air quality and lower emissions, as well as more space for people to walk and cycle. However, I live in a rural area and public transport at the moment is a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, we definitely need to invest in public transport, but also things like car sharing schemes and definitely more active travel infrastructure. But it's not just driving around in urban areas either. What we want is everyone to think maybe about no flow fly holidays or school trips. Um, and those things are definitely real options, whether that might be choosing international rail or traveling to Europe by ferry, or maybe exploring the UK and closer to home. They all have lower emissions than those international flights.
So tourism brings economic benefits to some communities internationally. We're not saying people can't fly or shouldn't be able to visit other places, but maybe choosing a more sustainable option has real benefits. Have you heard of Dale's EcoJet, an electric airline?
Absolutely. Definitely something to explore. So it's about then having the background understanding so that you can make informed decisions.
And so, what other organisations are trying to promote sustainable active transport in schools?
Well, yeah, so we've already mentioned Sustrans, and they have the National Big Walk and Wheel Week, but there's also organisations like Living Streets and Bikeability who do lots of the cycle training. There's organisations like Cleaner Air Sooner, as well as many other local campaign groups which are made up of parents and young people. We also have local councils who often have programs to reduce congestion around schools or improve the safety around pickup and drop off. And they might also promote active travel, such as walking buses or cycle rounds. And you'll love the fact that some areas also have citizen science projects to monitor air quality around the outside of a school.
Yeah, those citizen science projects are a real winner to get into school. And I love bikeability. When they can come into my school, the kids absolutely love getting on their bikes and showing what they can do. So I've also heard you're trying to restart your incredible climate cycle, a group of educators cycling around between schools with a mobile climate workshop. Tell me more.
We definitely are. And it might even come about this summer. So watch this space. So, Meryl, just to finish then, what do you think are the two best takeaways for this transport theme that teachers should know and could do now?
It's always tricky narrowing this down, but here goes. Number one, walking or wheeling for a school trip, taking public transport and exploring options not to fly. And number two, helping make our own communities more livable, such as promoting active travel, which has benefits for everybody. And you could do this through lessons, imagining what your street could look like.
Great suggestions. So, thinking about how we travel is really, really important. And it's actually also an area where schools can play a really important role as a catalyst within their local community. So, it's one that you can definitely start to see those ripples into the wider community.
Absolutely. I love to walk, and I'm going out for a walk in the sunshine this afternoon. Paul, it's been fantastic to talk to you. Chat again soon.
Bye.